Good evening, everybody. DJ Styles here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just how you texture. Now, I pretty much have this, my Night Creeper 1978 already textured, but I'm going to do short videos on texturing, and I'm going to try to do little 10-minute videos on how to do different things. I'm pretty much done the sculpture, so I can't really do anything until I can mold the sculpture. But I'll do a little area like right here on the cheek area. You can see that there's texture there already. You see those little balls and little tiny. If you zoom in on it, you'll be able to see that there's already texture there. But I'm going to do it again, and there's something going on right here that I'm not liking. It's not really smooth enough there. Looks like a little bumpy right there. So let me take a look, get into my other chair, and see what I can do here. Yeah, that's not looking too. Is it my eye, or is it? It's hard to explain. That looks pretty. I don't know. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just do my little thing with Naphtha. Now this is my epoxy sculpt. That's another tutorial altogether. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'll do a little thing with epoxy sculpt on how to use it and what you can use it for. It's used on so many different things. It's really amazing stuff. Okay, what I do with my little tool that I opened this up with. There you are, buried, of course. Okay. All right, so the product I'm talking about is Naphtha. It's basically what's used in lighter fluid. This Naphtha here is what you want. You can get this at Home Depot. Thins enamels and varnishes, but it also does wonderful with this clay that's actually a wax-based clay. It's monster clay, and it's wax-based. So what I do is I actually, at this point, like to use a brush, just an artist brush. I'll take this brush and I'll stick it inside. Let me get the lid so it's not in their way. I'll stick it inside the container of Naphtha, slosh it around, because this Naphtha actually eats. It eats the clay right off the brush. It's pretty amazing. Now I don't want to put too much Naphtha on here. We're just trying to soften the very outside layer of this sculpture. I'm going to do something about this spot right here. Now what that did was the very outside of the sculpture is softened. Now you can see the texture kind of disappeared a little bit. So now I'm going to take my little sponge here and double up on it, put my finger behind it, and just press it in there. See what it's doing? Don't press too hard, because you're only trying to put a texture on the outside of the clay. All right. Now you won't be able to do, without softening that outer edge, you cannot texture this type of clay. I have the hardest grade of clay you can buy in monster clay. There's three different levels of hardness with monster clay. You have the soft stuff, which is good for some sculpting, but I go with the hard because of the fact that I like to leave my sculptures laying around for quite some time. You know, I'm gonna texture that area too, because it looks like the texture's coming off on this. And you don't have to press hard, believe me. You don't want to press hard anyway. But it looks like I've lost some texture in here. And I really kind of brush this in pretty good. I don't want to try to texture this thing while it's still glistening wet. You know, you want it to make sure that the naphtha has soaked into that clay. All right, so I'm going to do this with my other hand. Perfect. That's a nice texture. Now what that will do is it'll help, you know, your paint grab onto your mask. When you go to paint this thing, it'll really give it some grabbing ability. I see one little too much texture there. That bead looked too big. There's a couple things I don't like here. Yeah, a little too much. But that's basically texturing. That's how you texture everything, you know, and I would work in little areas at a time. And look at up here, I'm seeing something here that I'm not liking. It looks a little shiny, like right up in this area here. So my brush is still a little wet, so I'm gonna go into this. Now it's soft there. I can tell because it starts moving the clay around. You can see the streaks of the brush, and that's soft enough to do the texturing. And if you don't soften it up real nice, what happens is it doesn't, you know, you'll see shiny spots where, I don't know, where it didn't soften, and it gets a little bit of a glistening to it. And the other side still has to be done. And every time I do something on here, I change it and makes it look different. So, that being said, that's texturing in a nutshell. So what do you think? Leave your comments. And you guys have a wonderful, let me get this turned here. Yeah, you can see the texture on there now. It's a little too much texture if you ask me, but I can always smooth it out just a little bit. Take out some of those, too many little pimples and bumps there. I'll get rid of some of that. But you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. We're coming up on it. And peace. Peace.